Today, I'm going to explain you what is FinOps and what is important for you if you are working in an IT or the cloud. Okay, let's get started. So if this is one of the first times that you have heard about FinOps, you probably have this kind of understanding that FinOps is basically the same as cloud cost reduction. So this is one of the first things that everyone thinks about, but this is not the reality. Okay, so I started in FinOps thinking about, okay, this is cloud cost reduction. I searched about cloud cost reduction in Google, and everything that appears to FinOps. And you need to understand that this is not correct. Okay, so this doesn't mean so FinOps is not only cloud cost reduction, okay? It's much more than that. So I'm going to explain you what is FinOps for me. There is an official definition, but I want to explain you what is FinOps for me so you can try to understand it the same way as I did. For me, what is FinOps, okay? So for me, FinOps means that for every dollar you spend in this case, cloud, or now IT, because the scope of FinOps is being changed, you get the maximum business, and this is important, value. This is the idea. This is what makes FinOps relevant. This is the business value that you get from it. Okay, so you don't need to think about reduction of the cost, because cutting costs has a limit, which is zero. Like you can shut down everything in your business that is in cloud, and then your cloud cost reduction will be great because it will be zero. But what business value would that have? None, because you don't have any. So this is the concept that for me really stuck. And this is what how I understand FinOps, and that's how I kind of fell in love with it. So hope you get this idea and stick to it, okay? So now that we understand that FinOps is related to business value and not only to cloud cost reduction, that could be the original concept that we have, how do we start? So where do we start? You need to understand that FinOps has a framework. So this is probably one of the best contributions from the FinOps Foundation. If you have a framework, if you have a way to understand what are the pieces, what are the different components of the practice, it makes it super easy. So having the FinOps framework, that I will leave the link in the description, makes it super easy to understand. So the first step I would recommend is to go to the FinOps framework, have a look, learn about it, and understand what it is. And then the next thing that you need to do is find which persona are you in FinOps. What's a FinOps persona? So the idea of the FinOps persona is kind of fairly simple. In FinOps, we have multiple roles. We have the FinOps people, the engineering, the product, the leadership, all of that, because FinOps is embedded into the business, and especially business that are into IT have all these different personas. So you have the engineer. Let's use these pieces to illustrate it. And then let's put this grid to FinOps. So let's put some sample personas. So engineering, product, finance, and then let's do leadership. And then here we are, FinOps persona. So you can be, and this is the one that is dealing with, is talking to all this. Think of it like a midfielder in football or in soccer, depending on where you are. So you are talking to all these people, because all of these are, the business stakeholders. Okay, because you have the finance embedded, the leadership, of course, the product, and the engineering, and then you're here. Okay, so you might be the FinOps, but you also might be the engineering, or you might be a product, or you might be in finance, or you might be in leadership. You're a C-suite. So you need to understand which persona you are, so that you have specific functions. Engineering is not going to be doing product work, so they are going to be checking the application, trying to optimize it in the architecture, in the safe left way, but it's a concept that we'll explain later. And business or leadership will have more the macro version, the high-level version, so that they can understand how FinOps affect the business. Finance will be taking care about the numbers, taking care about that the cloud cost is, controlled and well accounted for, and then product is going to be, okay, how we can make our applications better while implementing FinOps and providing business value in terms of, cost per user and things like that. So you need to understand the concept of FinOps persona and identify which one you are. You may be in multiple positions, it depends, I don't think so. And once you understand that, then you need to understand what are your functions within FinOps. And all of this is explained in the FinOps framework. Okay, so now we understand the concept of FinOps personas, but whenever you are in a conversation with a friend or you are communicating with people, like in this case, especially in business, you need to understand what the hell they are saying. So the finance language is one thing, the FinOps is going to say one thing, product is going to speak one language, leadership is going to speak another, and engineering is going to speak another. They may be talking about performance, this one is going to talk about business, and this is going to use finance terms. So this is a problem. And how do we solve it? So we need to have in FinOps a common language, because for people to understand each other, they need to speak the same language. I'm talking here in English because you are probably able to understand English. If I were speaking in another language, you probably don't understand me. So this is fairly important, and you need to speak the same language. So there is a lot of terminology that you need to understand probably when you are learning about the FinOps Framework and all this information. You will need to understand the terminology, the language, because whenever you are speaking the same language, if this person is using the same language as this one, they are going to be able to understand each other. And if we understand each other, we can get an outcome. Okay, and this would be increasing the business budget. Okay, hope it's easy to you could understand that. Okay, so this is super important. Now we have the FinOps personas and the FinOps language. So apart from the practice, if you have personas talking in the same language and having a relationship between each other, what does this create? So you have multiple personas that are communicating using the same language. So what do you think this creates? Okay, so with some of this creates a culture. FinOps is a cultural thing, so you need to embed the FinOps practice because you are, different personas communicating using the same language, using the same framework, and this creates a culture. And FinOps is very important that in your business, the company culture that you'll probably have defined in some document, you need to embed the FinOps culture within your business so it sticks. Because FinOps is not a one-time thing, it's an ongoing thing. So you need to embed the FinOps culture in your organization, the personas communicating using the same language and getting the culture stick in your business. If the culture doesn't stick, then your FinOps practice is not going to work in the long term. Now that you understand all these concepts, it's like, how do we start? So one of the things that you need to understand first is the maturity level, okay? So maturity is a really great concept for FinOps is, where do I stand in the practice, okay? Where do I stand in FinOps? Okay, so how do we represent the maturity in FinOps? So we have different stages. Let's represent it in a way that is official. That is the crawl, then the walk, and then the run. So I'm not sure how I'm going to draw someone that is running. So assume this person is running and is super happy. So this is the run, okay? So basically this is the super early stage. I'm going to draw identifying quick wins, starting to find about visibility, start talking to people about it, and you're super, basically this is the early stage, okay? And then you are here, you have advanced a bit, you have more cost visibility, maybe put some automation, some small governance over there. So you are here in the intermediate, okay? And then you have an ongoing practice, you're starting to win self-level, maybe you are measuring the cost whenever you are trying to create a new application before deploying it, and you may have some governance, etc. Then you might be here and you might be more advanced, okay? So this is the way you would find information about, how do you understand that you're in early, you're in intermediate, or you're in advanced section. But this is important to know, okay, what's the next step to move to here? Or if you're here, how do I move here? Or even what's the thing that an early practice would do? What's the first steps that we do when grow? Okay, so this is an important lesson that you also need to learn. So now we learn way more about FinOps that we were for started, but for FinOps, one important thing is how do you get leadership to buy you in? Okay, so how do you make your manager, the manager of your manager, your CEO, whomever, to get buy-in about this and to make FinOps possible? So how to do FinOps, how to explain FinOps to your boss, okay? So we have a dedicated video with Borja from NTT talking about how to explain FinOps to your boss, how to get the business value out of it, so they may be able to understand it. So please go and check this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and join the newsletter where more than 6,000 people are learning about FinOps every week. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.